Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the third live stream in English of Firebeasts and the Ranch Racing Team and Championship Series. Today we will be racing on Mount Panorama in Australia. And as you see, because of the last races, the race for points was won by none other than Valentino Rossi, which actually put him on top of the leaderboard, the championships with 130 points. Below him sits Top Gun and LA246 on 129. And Mattia Pasini also making up some ground with 106 points. And Dino at the moment sitting in fourth place with Catfish with 105 points. Unfortunately, Catfish hasn't been able to make any appearances in the previous race and the race before that. But one thing for sure is that we still have this round as well as the next round left. So there is plenty of time to still come back. Last week we did see Rossi, as I said before, taking the win on Fuji, which was a Group 2 race. Drivers were pretty much racing for half an hour, 2 races, first one for real, second one for fun, and just battling it out on track really. Unfortunately, the fun race, we didn't really see many of the drivers, and there were some more technical issues in the second race, but for the first race, it seemed like everyone roughly kept it together, and Rossi came out with the victory. Luca Cadalora also getting another point on the board. Previously sitting on 1 point in the championship before, but now he's 2, so he's managed to grab some extra points there. Roberto Brivio actually made a really good appearance in the previous race as well. I do believe he finished at a really good place, so that puts him up to 7th place as well. And although there is only 1 point, separating the first and the second places, there is still plenty of improvements to do for third, fourth, and fifth, who are also in really close contention to each other. So hopefully we will see some more battles at the top. And in the meantime, I'd just like to tell you something about the track that we're racing on today. So as I said, we are racing on Australia, if I've been told correctly, in Mount Panorama. So that is a very tight technical circuit with a lot of elevation change. The first sector is fairly simple, going up the hill, but the second sector is really quite difficult for the drivers to actually get right every single time. Overtaking is going to be a real challenge around this track. I've actually raced this track not too long ago, and I've had a ton of fun, but at the same time, you really have to keep incredible concentration levels to pretty much keep the car on the road and out of the wall. So most likely this track, if any of the tracks, it's this one that will show how good each driver is on the grid. Okay, no problem. How long? Maybe time? Hello? Do you know how long until we start? Okay, good. So we are back at the moment. Unfortunately, we had some issues regarding the streaming. So now we should be all back and ready for the race. And unfortunately, there were some issues with the hosting, but everything apparently has been resolved now. So we are looking forward to starting the race as soon as possible. In the meantime, we can see some of the beautiful liveries created. Once again, I just need to quickly check who it was made by, but they are really, really beautiful. You can just see the perfect replica of many drivers and many riders. Real life liveries, actually, they are pretty much spot on, I'd say. The color schemes all the way to the sponsors and everything, they are made by Fabio Paolino. So every single one of these liveries is his work. We can just pretty much see the amazing professionalism in these races. You can see the official Firebeast racing team livery. Then you can see Roberto Brivio's red and grey and black car here, which is once again representing what he normally runs in his career.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only the best. I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only the best. I'm lonely, going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be...
So, welcome back, everyone. Finally, we are on the track now. As I said, we are on Mount Panorama, Bathurst, Australia, whatever you want to call it, whatever you like to call it, however you know it. And we are currently in qualifying. We have actually finally managed to get into the room successfully with the hosting and everything, no longer having issues. As we see Paso going up the hill. As I said, this really tricky, tight section of the track, which really takes a lot of skill from the drivers to actually understand and learn how to understand and go fast on this track without any mistakes. That will be the main factor of today. It won't be overtaking, it will be how little mistakes, as we see Paso actually going a little bit wide there. And because he's done that now, he has a really bad exit onto the downhill section, which you can see he's immediately messed up, unfortunately. So you can just see how important it is to make sure that everything works out perfectly, as they're already fighting it out on the outlap, taking it pretty much for blood already, as we see the drivers going down the straight. Yeah, so as I said, this round unfortunately won't be about the overtaking. I don't imagine that there will be many overtakes between the drivers, but there will certainly be mistakes being made, which is actually a really important factor, unfortunately, because on this track it's not hard to do, and if anything, then the driver who actually manages to drive the perfect race, or the near enough perfect race, is the one who's gonna end up, I think, coming out on top here. It doesn't really matter about the starting position as long as no one makes a mistake. And unfortunately, we do see the lobby once again breaking down, so we will be back shortly after the technical pause once again.
I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets, live with every breath. See my message start to spread, and I had so many dreams. Then you hit your teens, life ain't really what it seems. Try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope.
Hello, so we are back now. Finally, we are out on track. We have made a new lobby, it seems like, and we are off again. Every driver is now leaving the pit lane to go on their out laps, and hopefully we will see some really good racing now without any technical issues. As we see now, drivers going up the hill. We see Valentino Rossi in 5th place in the order. Unfortunately, there are no times set by the drivers yet, but he is in 5th place out on track. So there is only 4 cars in front of him, which means that, as I said, there will be plenty of mistakes being made. Hopefully, he doesn't have too many drivers making mistakes in front of him that would compromise his lap. We have seen on this track many times, as well as just before when we've restarted, and there's the first one immediately from Passo, unfortunately, and as you can see immediately that just holds up the cars behind him. He does come off the throttle a little bit, trying to let his fellow drivers go, but you can just see how one simple mistake compresses the entire field of cars, and they end up. And they're still going side by side, so this is really confusing at the moment what Passo is doing. He lifted off at first, but then he kept going once again. I think he realized at the end that he actually does want the track position, but now Brivio Bros goes on the grass, and I do believe he's actually spun around. So you can just see how crazy it is at the moment on the track. Everyone trying to line up for their laps and trying to spread out all the time. But finally we see Passo starting his lap. Pretty much nailing turn 1. Usually a turn 1 time is a 0.8 here. And let's just see what sort of time he is. 18.8 is a very good sector time on this track. But I do believe he's abandoned his lap. So unfortunately he won't do that. But we can see 18.8 being done by Fattoria there. So you can just see how brilliant he is already. Yes, we do see a restart being called from Ernesto, unfortunately. I do believe there are some further technical problems in the meantime. So we will once again take a short technical break and be back shortly. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done. I'll be number one, working hella hard until I get just what I want. Yeah, rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won. Yeah, always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one, working hella hard until I get just what I want. Yeah, rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won. Yeah, always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what.
So welcome back. Finally, we are in the race back. Finally, I do believe we are underway at the moment, but I do think there is someone leaving the qualifying session. So it seems like we still have some issues, but regardless of that, there is still 6 minutes left from the qualifying, and as we see, Paso once again being first on track, holding track position at the moment. He has done a 2 minutes 6.2 lap time, which is actually a very solid time, I must say, although I'm not really sure what kind of tire mix these drivers are using. I do believe they are still on the racing softs. But as we see Paso crossing the line on a 2-minute 1, so that's a very, very, very fast time. Usually this track on hards is about 2:03, and since they're really slow corners and everything, there does tend to be a lot of variance between the lap times from tire to tire. So I do believe they are on slightly softer compounds, as we do see Brivio Bros continuing to take his lead from last race as well. He has done really, really well in the previous race. He had really good pace both in qualifying and in the race as well, and as we see him jumping on top of the leaderboard. But as I say that, FRTLA actually takes the lead from him with just 3/10. So unfortunately, we still hasn't seen a sub 2-minute lap time, but I do believe that the drivers will certainly be able to set one that is definitely sub 2 minutes. I do believe they will have about 4 laps in the qualifying, given that there is 10 minutes, as we do see the car in front of Brivio Bros, who is actually Fattoria Valentino, pushing it really hard. As you can see, he's just scraping the wall on the exit of that corner. So as you can see, they are really using the track limits. And another interesting thing about this track is that the ground itself, so the tarmac, not so much on this part of the track, but on other parts of the track, the tarmac is really bumpy, especially down here. You saw that there was a little bit of a bump, and on the back straights as well as up the hill. You can see many different bumps on the road, which unfortunately upsets the car really quite badly in some of the runs. So essentially, in some of the corners, it's really important to have the exact same turning in point, because you can still be fast if you turn in a little bit later or earlier, in fact. But on this track, it doesn't really pay off, because of the track being so uneven. The drivers can potentially just be pushed out. Their cars can actually just sort of not grip up properly and just be pushed off into the corner of the track, which occasionally ruins a completely flawless lap. As we do see Mauro Sanchini making use of the slipstream, he might actually have the first sub 2 minute lap time, but unfortunately he doesn't do that. In fact, Dino has done a sub 2 minute lap time. I do believe that is a 1:59.7, so they're well below 2 minutes. As we see a 18.8 being done by Fattoria here. Perhaps that is a good time, but unfortunately that is only a 19.0, so he is about a 10th and a half off just in one corner. So it just shows you how technical this track is. As we see them going up the hill now, we see a slightly wide line being taken by Fattoria there as he continues up the hill. I do apologize, unfortunately I don't have my commentator friend with me today, but I will try my best and deliver the content to you guys on my own. This is the second to last race, so I'm sure we will have a really good time coming into the last race with the commentaries. But there is 4/10 now that Fattoria is losing, unfortunately, downhill. So although he seems to have nailed these last few corners, he might actually be able to improve the time. But otherwise, he isn't looking very good now, especially sitting in 6th place still. Making use of all the track width there. We're soon coming through the next checkpoint, just up the hill underneath the gantry sign. We will be seeing a sector time just now in a few seconds, which actually isn't too bad. I do believe that this time is roughly enough for a 2-minute 1 lap time, so he will perhaps improve unless he gets something really wrong, but he does have another lap. This is the second to last lap that drivers are able to do, and Passo might actually interrupt his lap a little bit as he drives past the lapped car. And he doesn't seem, so as I did say, it's a 2-minute 1 lap time, but unfortunately he doesn't manage to improve his time of 2 minutes 6/10. But there is one more lap left for him to improve. As we do see, he really needs to get that 18.8 in the first sector, otherwise his lap is fully compromised. Let's just see how he does. 18.7 actually, he's 1.5 tenths up his time, so that is a very good lap. Looking really good going up the hill at the moment. He is very cautious. Unfortunately, the cars do drift out a little bit here, which actually causes him to touch the wall a little bit. He also is very aggressive on the throttle on the entry of this corner, as he does have to catch it, slightly collecting the car during the corner, as he does have someone behind him. I do believe it's Passo pushing him off the road. He will have the slipstream on the back straight, so this is favoring him unless Rossi makes a mistake. In that case, he is losing out big time. Nailing that top of the hill, and as we see, unfortunately he has lost almost 5 tenths, and now he is going a little bit wide downhill, and we will see Passo coming through, who also makes a mistake, and that takes Mauro Sanchini with him as well. You can just see the huge carnage that is caused in this track because of the really narrow roads and everything. Dino actually going wide there as well. Sanchini Mauro's lap is unfortunately ruined with this, so he won't be improving his 2-minute 5/10 lap time. Someone who isn't affected by the whole crashing is the driver behind them, Brivio Bros, who might actually be able to pull out of the slipstream here and go for the move, but unfortunately I don't believe that Mauro Sanchini will give that position so easily, as they do stay side by side, but he does back out of it, so Brivio Bros does stay in front. He does go a little bit too deep, but that air slipstream on the back straight really helped him out. I do believe that gained him a couple of temps, so we might see Brivio Bros improving here. As I did say, he is one of the fastest drivers on the grid at the moment. Do we see him improving? This is the final lap of the drivers. Brivio Bros does not improve, unfortunately, nor does Sanchini Mauro. 2 seconds slower, unfortunately, because of that crash. We don't see Valentino Rossi improving either, so he will be starting 6th in this race, as we do see the 3 FRT boys in first, Dino, Ernesto and Ale. The top 3 beasts, I'd say, other than the only one left, Tony Mick, who is the 4th FRT driver, who is really quick, had multiple top split appearances as well. So we do see that the drivers are looking at the front rows. As I did say, it's really hard to assemble a really good lap on this track. So, especially since they only had about 4 laps to do it, they will not have an easy job putting all of this together. And as you do see, we are going into the race, getting on the starting grid. So we will see Dino, Ernesto, Ale lining up in front. The 3 FRT drivers completing the second row will be Brivio Bros, then Sanchini Mauro, and then Fattoria in 6th place. Unfortunately, we do see Hornatoro and the other FRT drivers all the way in the back of the grid. They haven't had such a good qualifying. I do believe they are a lot quicker than that, but as we see the lights going out right now, who will take the first corner? Just an interesting thing about this track is that the first and the second car actually start side by side, but ultimately, since Dino had the inside line, he will turn first, as we do see Rossi spinning off and going wide in the distance. So he is down to 6th place now. He didn't really have a really good start to the race. He is in last place, and since they are coming up on the main straight, he will just lose more and more time. He is at the moment 2 seconds off of everyone, pretty much the whole pack. He is sitting in last place. Unfortunately, he had a nightmare start, but look at Brivio Bros overtaking both of the FRT drivers in front of him, and only Dino left. He started 4th on the grid all the way up to 2nd, and he started on the outside line as well, so he's done a really good start. As we go up the hill now, we see Mauro Sanchini in 5th place. He is doing very well considering unfortunately, the not so good chance he had during qualifying. But bear in mind that there is another thing to consider for these drivers now, which is the fact that they are driving in the slipstream in the slower corners, which it can actually be very confusing to drivers, as they are entering a very high downforce part of the track, especially as I did say about the tarmac spitting the cars out in every single corner. They have to be extra careful, following pretty much the exact same line. So it's not about lifting into corners, unfortunately, for these drivers anymore. It's about making sure that every single corner they take perfectly, as they would normally do at the same speed that they would normally be going. As the cars do actually get pulled a fair amount, but we do see Hornatoro actually backing out there. He is down to last place now, so Rossi actually making up one place after that start of the race incident, as we do see Brivio Bros still in 4 tenths of Dino. Torres Drogba in front of Valentino at the moment, with Piro in 9th place and Passo in 8th. Hornatoro is falling really far off the track, as we do see Rossi going slightly wider, and we do see a car in the wall, which is Piro 46. I'm not sure what happened there. I would love to see a replay of that, but unfortunately I don't believe we're going to have one of them at the moment, as we do see Fattori actually making use of his driving skills, as coming up to 10th place, leaving anti-racing behind him, with Piro 46 in front of him. He is making up positions rapidly, but unfortunately there is a 10-second gap to the first place driver already. So he has a lot of recovering to do here. I do believe that there is a bit of a gap in front of Piro here, so as long as he can manage to overtake him, he will have a good amount of clean air to try and catch up to the group in front. Going back to the front is Dino once again in his Aston Martin. We did see that this car worked flawlessly for him on Red Bull Ring. He was rapid around that track in the Aston Martin, but we do see the Mercedes of Roberto Brivio behind him, still hunting him down, maintaining that gap. It has gone down a little bit to 7 tenths now, but we have the main straight coming up, and I do believe that by the end of the straight there is about 4 tenths to be gained. So unfortunately, I don't believe that there will be a move being done here, but they will most certainly put themselves in contention for the last sector of the race, of the lap. Sorry. I do estimate that there will be roughly about 15 laps on this race, so the drivers have 13 more laps to try and battle it out. We see Ale going for the GTR, which is a very rare choice on this track, but we have seen very good lap times being done in the GTR a few weeks ago on the daily races in Gran Turismo. So I'm sure that it won't be a weak car. It's just very hard to handle. I do believe he did want to get that challenge for himself. We see a bit of a gap between 5th and 6th, as we do see someone sliding wide in the last corner. So Fattoria is in 10th now. I do believe it was Andy Racing making more mistakes at the back, as in 4th place we have Ale still hunting down his teammate Ernesto in 3rd place at the moment, with Roberto Brivio still in 2nd. Unfortunately, he is dropping a little bit back from the leader, but he was hanging on really quite well. I do believe that gap is still manageable, especially with the long straight coming down, to then salvage his gap, I should say. Just take care of it, try and get as close as he can. As we do see Fattoria immediately hunting down Piro 46, and he will try and make a move on him as soon as possible, as we are going down the downhill section. Unfortunately, moving and overtaking here isn't really a possibility, because there is only one perfect line through this sector, otherwise you will be just losing time. And we do see, and that's Brivio Bros in the wall, so that's such a shame. I do believe that was one of the FRT drivers behind him making that move, but I'm not really too sure. Unfortunately, I can't really see the names very well, but I do believe Brivio Bros has been pushed off the track, and although he was doing really well in 2nd place, he is now down to 6th, defending to the 7th place driver of Passo. Unfortunately, that hasn't really worked out for him, with Bartolini being up in 5th place, and now he does run wide as well, so that makes him fall back down to 7th now. I do believe the move was by Mauro Sanchini actually, sorry, as Ernesto actually goes deep. So we can just see is what I mentioned at the beginning of the race here. The fact that these drivers are most likely to make more mistakes than overtakes in this race, it just shows the perfect precision and the endurance that you have to actually do really well on this circuit. Making sure that you put the best lap together as you possibly can. I do believe that is Ale in 2nd place, and I do believe that there is Ernesto actually falling out of the top 3 there. He was doing really well, but unfortunately I did see him slide a little bit wide, so I think he is up to 5th now, with Mauro Sanchini in front of him in 4th, and Brivio Bros still down to 7th, as we do see a move being made between 6th and the 5th place. Passo sends it down the inside of Ernesto. It wasn't the cleanest move, but I mean, he had the inside line, so unfortunately he can't really do much about that. Brivio Bros still in 7th. Passo coming up to 5th. He has a bit of gap in front of him and behind him as well. Unless he makes a mistake, he doesn't really have to worry about defending for now. And Rossi making up more and more time. Unfortunately, he has fallen a little bit back from Piro. He is now 17 seconds behind the leader, so unfortunately he won't be gaining so much time on the leader. I don't believe that this is one of his strongest tracks. But we do see a penalty from Dino. There is a little bit of a tolerance downhill in a section where he tends to you tend to be able to put your car behind the white line in a way that you don't touch the wall, and it still gives you a penalty. So unfortunately it is a little bit annoying from the race and from the game itself, but unfortunately we can't do much about that. If there weren't any penalties, then the drivers would have no consequences, so that is the reason why these features are implemented, as we do see Bartolini in 3rd place coming up, doing a really good comeback, sending all the FRT drivers behind him, and Bravio Bros obviously in 7th place, unfortunately, after that incident with Mauro Sanchini. But he doesn't seem to have it easy, as there isn't too much of a gap behind him to 4th place. And coming up this straight, unfortunately, he will have, well, unfortunately, very good for him. I'm sure he likes to have these sort of facilities available to him, but there will be a stronger slipstream to Mauro Sanchini behind him, so I'm sure he will be gaining some time. In fact, I don't believe that there is slipstream in front of Tia there, so he has to worry more about defending than attacking in this race now, unfortunately. And as you see, the gap just coming more and more down. It was about 8 tenths on the straight. Now he is all the way up on his gearbox. There might be a move here for 3rd place coming up soon. As we are going to the downhill section, it is very hard to overtake here. And I do believe they won't go for it either. But most certainly he is keeping down the distance as much as he possibly can and taking a very wide line entering that, which is very good because that gives him a very good exit from the corner, getting the power on as much as possible, as soon as possible. But I do believe that he was held up slightly by Tia actually getting a really bad exit, so I do believe the 2 cars made contact, which just helps Tia actually try and break away from him. But I do believe they will be side by side into this next corner here. There will be a move being made as he does go the inside, but he backs out in time. He unfortunately won't get that move done on this lap. I'm sure he doesn't want to lose too much time because you can just see the heap of drivers behind them trying to equally fight their way up onto the podium finish. Thinking about the score, but unfortunately I do believe that Rossi will have a very, very, very strong decline of the places, potentially, although there is a really tight fight in 1st and 2nd place. I do believe he might even fall down to 3rd place with this unfortunate result. He is really far back, and I'm sure that it won't be easy for him to climb back up. But in the meantime, focus on the front, because there is a huge battle for 3rd place still going on, as we do see 4 cars in fact behind, all the way up to 7th place trying to get this position for 3rd, but we do see them going side by side. So Mauro Sanchini actually being ahead, and he actually takes the lead because of the acceleration from the exit of that 2nd corner. He's done really, really well there to keep the car on track and just drives around the outside on the uphill section up into 3rd place now, already breaking almost a 2nd gap to the car behind. He is now 9 tenths ahead. Unfortunately, there is about 8 seconds of a lead between the real life driver and the 2 FRT drivers in front, so they have pretty much run away with this, but there might potentially be some mistakes still being made. As I did say, anything can happen on this track. Passo being in 5th place, hunting down Tia now as well, so he has gone from 3rd to having to defend from 5th place. Unfortunately, it has been a really weak lap from him, but he might actually be able to come back slightly, helping him on the main straight, unless he had a really bad exit from the last corner, but I don't believe that's the case. Every single time the drivers get on the straight, it just gives them more and more of an opportunity to catch up to each other, which just makes the battles more and more crazy and tight. So as you do see that Passo trying to go down the inside, he still leaves his car there, but I do believe he comes out of there. We see Ernesto once again running a little bit wide, and we do see Tia actually going off track, so he will be losing a lot of places there. Unfortunately, he has gone slightly off. We do see Rossi now in 9th place, in fact, so he has beaten the driver who he was chasing down for 9th place. They have swapped places as well, so it's just a matter of him catching up to the rest of the pack. Ernesto and Torres Drogba still being behind in 6th and 7th place, trying to hunt down Bravio Bros, who had a strong start, but unfortunately had a incident still in a few laps into the race. Unfortunately, that caused him to fall down the order. Same with Rossi, unfortunately, in the 1st corner already going a little bit too wide. We still haven't seen what was the cause of that, but I'm sure it wasn't a very pleasant experience. Ernesto now trying to chase down Torres Drogba, still the two teammates, but he has a little bit of a twitchy exit from the third corner on the track, if we count the little kink as one corner. Then it's the fourth corner, as we do see LA in that GTR making it really work. As we do, the GTR is a very strong machine, but it is very, very hard to handle and very easy to lose the control of in these corners. They really have to be quite careful on the gas. As you can see, his accelerator, he can't immediately floor the car, whereas the other cars are much more gentle, a lot easier to handle than the GTR. So he is high risk, high reward in this track, which is already very high risk. So we just see the huge driving skill being demonstrated here by the online FRT guys. At the moment, doing really well against the real life icons of Italy. As unfortunately the gap is still increasing. Now it's at 21 seconds to Valentino Rossi, as we do see the first pit stops being made in the race now by none other than Dino, the race leader, and it will be very interesting to see where he comes out, but I don't believe that the pit loss time is too much on this track, so he is back into the lead, so he won't be losing too much time, as we do see most of the drivers deciding to opt in for their pit stops now, just as we hit the halfway mark nearly in 20 seconds of the race. We do see lap 8 being started, so it will be a 50-minute race. Piero still in the pits in 10th place, just shows how much of a gap there is between the whole field still, as Rossi actually comes down to 18 seconds, but he hasn't pitted yet, so there is about 3 or 4 seconds of loss in the pit lane, which isn't too much considering that the drivers, I'm pretty sure, only have to change their tyres. I do believe there is no need for refueling. So it is a very quick stop, and in fact there might be a potential opportunity for a two-stopper strategy in this race, as we did see LA pitting slightly earlier, or one of the FRT drivers, I'm not quite sure who it was anymore, but we did see one of the drivers pitting really early, which might show that they might be on a two-stop penalty strategy, sorry, not penalty, which might actually pay off here, because there is such a short duration of loss, like time loss in the pit lane, but at the same time there is such a huge tire wear that I'm sure it affects the cars, especially as I did say earlier, if you're on stronger compounds on this race, there is more of a time to be lost in these tight corners, because the car does lose a fair bit of traction, and as I did say, these corners are often off camber because of the quality of the tarmac, so the cars do wash out fairly often to the outside, which isn't very good in keeping good lap times going as much as possible, as we do see the first lap now in the 2-minute 9s from Mauro Sanchini. Unfortunately, he hasn't had a very good lap there in 7th. I do believe he had his pit stop then, so it is about a 9-second loss, I do believe, 7 seconds, sorry. As the fastest lap of the race still isn't under 2 minutes, it is 2 minutes 3/10, I do believe, if I see it correctly. Unfortunately, it's really quite hard to see, but we do see Rossi going in to the pit lane in 8th place now, on more than half fuel, so he will have plenty of fuel available to him. He only has to change his tires, which he does so, and immediately back out on the track. Coming back into 9th place now behind, in fact he's back to 8th place, sorry, so he's maintained his position, only 7 seconds behind Torres Drogba, so he has all the reason now to push. He will have the freshest tyres out of anyone in the field, so he has all the chance to push and claim as much as a victory as possible. But we do see two of the FRT drivers, Anti Racing and Hornetoro, in last place, unfortunately coming to a little bit of a crash, a bit of an inconvenience. I do believe that they are battling it out here as much as they possibly can. Unfortunately, it's no longer for track position for them, as they are really far down the order. They have just now left the start-finish straight, as we do see most of the drivers making their way up now the uphill section, and the leading pack the downhill section now. Rossi has only lost a 1 second, around 1 second in the last few laps, which just shows that he is coming onto the pace slow and steady, but he has had a bit of a weak start to the race. I do believe that his motivation and rhythm of driving has been slightly ruined by the incident at the beginning. And I do see the lap now. It is a 2-minute 9/10 lap, but we do see Ale going purple and catching up to Dino, so we can just see the raw pace of that GTR, or perhaps Dino has made a mistake. But there might be a change of lead here coming out of the last corner. Ale actually went purple on that lap, improved about 5 tenths, and now the fastest lap of the race is a 2-minute 4:90. So he is definitely making up as much time as possible. And he does have the slipstream, especially in that GTR, revving it out in 5th gear. He is most certainly going to have as much acceleration up the hill as possible. We do see him sliding a little bit wide, which I did just mention earlier about the slidiness of the GTR. It's very hard to control. We do see a very, very, very careful throttle application from Ale, which he can do because of the raw skill and pace he has. I do believe that these drivers haven't made any mistakes in this race yet, or at least they haven't been shown. Although it is a little bit concerning how much time Dino is losing compared to LA. Perhaps it's the GTR, perhaps it's the driver, perhaps it's the track. We don't know yet, but we do know that there will be a battle for the race win here. Taking a very wide entry down onto the main straight and trying to get a very good launch. He has lost a bit of time on a downhill. He is now 6 tenths behind, but the GTI has a very good pace on the straight. Unfortunately not in 6th gear though, so we won't see as much of a gain being made on the straight. He is 3 tenths within. He might be able to dive it down the inside 2 tenths now, but they are coming up to the brake zone and it's not worth it to make a move just yet. So these drivers are hanging on. Unfortunately, if Dino had enough of a gap in front of Vale, then he wouldn't have issues with the slipstream and easily break off. Okay, and it seems like we have stopped the race. Sorry about that, there was a slight technical pause there. There is still 8 minutes left of the race, and we do see a challenge for the 3rd place now of Mauro Sanchini, and Passo behind him in 4th place, and Rivia Bro still coming up. So once again, it is a very strong appearance from the real-life drivers and icons in this race, slowly catching up to each other. As I do believe there is still a battle between Dino and Ale, but unfortunately I slightly missed that because of a technical pause. As we see the 3 drivers going down into the last sector of the track now. Braking very late, in fact. Passo almost going a little bit too deep. Mauro Sanchini probably taking it very, very cautious, trying not to make mistakes as we do. See Roberto Brivio slightly taking it wide on that exit of that corner, the penultimate corner there. But the pack is trying to stay together as much as possible. He is very aggressive on that car, as you can see him slightly sliding wide on that exit as well. Now leaving the first corner, going up the main straight. Sorry, not the main straight, the first straight of the 3 on this track, as if we can call the main straight a straight. It isn't the longest one, that's for sure. And Passo actually makes a move on Mauro Sanchini, slightly making contact there, but he does hang on to his position. The order stays the same, but now Brivio Bro is actually able to come down the inside, but he does back out. It is a very dangerous place to make an overtake. But we do see Passo actually going sideways up that hill. That occasionally happens when the car touches the outside of the track there. It can upset it really quite badly, causing drivers to go really wide as Passo actually hits the barrier there, losing almost 2/10, in fact 3/10 now, and that puts Brivio Bros into contention in a way that he might potentially make a move before even getting down the hill. He is very close to the car in front. He might be able to chuck it down here. Drivers are still following each other. Look at that, bumper to bumper, very, very close action. Still going downhill. Now going on to the last straight. He absolutely nailed that exit, and we can see him gaining time immediately on the car in front of him. Although he has lost a little bit, sorry, so maybe he's gone a little bit too wide on that corner. Passo also does have the slipstream of the car in front of him, so as much as Brivio Bros, Roberto Brivio is trying to make up places in this race, he first has to probably let the first pack in front of him, third and fourth, fight it out for third place first before he manages to shoot his shot at the podium, because of the dirty air and the lack of slipstream he has at the moment. It's favouring Passo more than Brivio Bros at the moment, unfortunately. There is 5 minutes of the race left. We are in lap 13. And Valentino Rossi in 8th place now. In 9th place behind him is Tiatia, who was also up in 3rd place, but now all the way down to 9th. You can just see how much a couple of incidents and inconveniences in this race can have on different types of people and drivers. It just shows that anything can happen. In 9th is Tiatia, still chasing down Rossi for 8th place. You can see these beautiful camera shots on this track. These are really quite special. You can see these camera shots in the real life V8 Supercar series as well, which tends to run on this track, which is a very famous series. There are many endurance races on this track as well, 6-hour races, and I do believe there are longer ones than that as well. Unfortunately, I don't really remember the Australian racing scene, and don't really follow it either. But this track is a very popular, iconic circuit for the endurance races. It just tests the raw skill and pace of everyone, going pretty much all out for multiple hours, having all that risk factor of hitting it into the wall or sliding off the track. This track has pretty much everything possible on it to ruin a race. It has very narrow corners as well, making overtaking very difficult, and if anyone actually tries to go for one, then it either has to be one of the drivers being very cautious or a complete mess and crash, which is normally what happens on GT Sport, unfortunately. LA and Dino still has a stagnating gap between them of 9/10. There is the main straight coming up, which hopefully will reduce it, but then it will once again increase over the straight. This will be the penultimate lap of the race. So Daniel really has to do his best to try and defend from LA before he gets overtaken. He has held him off for the last couple of laps, so I'm sure it won't be a very difficult task for him if he's proving it to, if he's making it look so easy, I should say. We do see the point system here of Rossi being in first place. Unfortunately, he will be losing out a lot in this race, but we do see LA in second place with 129 points, currently leading the race, which he will be leading the championship after this race if he does hang on to this position. I do believe if he does lose the position, he will still take the lead, but it doesn't matter because he wants as many points as possible, I'm sure, for the last race, because in the last race, once again, we're not sure what track it is yet, but anything can happen there as well. Oh, and Mauro Sanchini actually sliding wide there, almost into the barrier, falling behind and hitting Torres Drogba, who actually manages to recover from that, but his race is pretty much ruined with that. And we will see some more drivers coming down the hill now, which he might potentially annoy with this, including Ernesto and behind him Rossi. But after that incident in the first race, we see Brivio Bros actually trying to fight it out for third place now. He is all the way back up and trying to make a move on Passo there. He goes down the inside, but it's not enough for him. He has to brake. Won't be able to get that move done now, and we are entering the last lap of the race with LA still in second place with 7 temps behind Dino, trying his hardest to actually catch up to him. There are huge battles going on track now for first and second, between first and second and third and fourth place as well. So there has been little packs breaking off with the drivers who have pretty much had a flawless race so far in first and second, and then in third and fourth with the not so lucky but still very, very, very quick drivers battling it out for the last podium step back there. But the ultimate goal of this race is obviously if you win, because as some wise man said before, if you come second, you are the first one to lose. And that is certainly not what LA wants, being second in the championship with only 1 point behind. He definitely wants to clinch that victory for this race as well, so that they can extend their lead. And we do see the drivers entering the last straight with only about 6 tenths separating them. Unfortunately, that won't be enough to get into slipstream, get side-by-side action for the last chicane. But most certainly it will put them very, very close. So will LA try the move, or will he just back out of it and let his teammate have the fight? I'm pretty sure that's not what he's going to do. Let's just see if he tries and go for it. He is purple at the moment. He is side-by-side. He tries to pull on the inside, but Dino actually defends the line. LA still on the outside, going slightly wide, which actually makes him fall back a little bit. So the Aston Martin actually had a very good exit from that line. And he is flashing his lights, so I might have seen it wrong. But ultimately, we are taking the last corner of the race, and Dino actually takes the victory with LA being behind him. They've done a very, very good performance and a very good race here on this track. Flawless racing. In third is Passo. Unfortunately, Brivio Bros couldn't quite recover the last step of the podium here, but he will bring it home in fourth behind Passo, taking the last podium place in third, and Passo ultimately actually jumping a few positions on the championship standings, with Torres Drogba coming home in fifth and Mauro Sanchini causing that nasty incident in the beginning, but unfortunately lost out on it massively in sixth place, with Ernesto in seventh. Rossi only manages to get the 8th position for this race. He hasn't had the best race, unfortunately, but in 9th place we have Tiatia, who was once again a podium sitter in the beginning of the race, but unfortunately things have gone downhill for him. Pirro coming home in 10th place, the main rival, I'd say, of Valentino Rossi in this race. And then we have Andy Racing in 11th, very far back. And then Hornetodo, who has already been lapped, I do believe, so he has already completed his lap. And now we see Andy Racing slowly crossing the line. I'm sure he has nothing to worry about in terms of losing more time, as we did see a very, very hectic race, I'd say. Once again, the prediction in the beginning was pretty accurate, I'd say, with the fact that this track isn't about the overtaking, it's more about the flawless driving, and we did see a very good set of skills being demonstrated here. So thank you everyone for joining us this week. Next week we will have the last round of the championship. I do hope you enjoyed watching today, regardless of the technical pauses, which once again we apologize for. Thank you for watching. I have been Richie, and thank you very much for tuning in. See you next